Welcome to Jazz Time. JazzTime.com is an online store that buys, sells, trades authentic luxury watches. We make these videos so our customers can easily choose the best watch for themselves in the comfort of their own home. If you like this watch and you would like to purchase it at the lowest price anywhere online, click on the link in the description below to buy it at JazzTime.com. Today, I will be reviewing the Rolex Yacht-Master 40 in yellow gold with a champagne dial, reference 16628. I'll tell you a little bit about the history of the Yacht-Master, then tell you about where this watch stands in the lineup of other Yacht-Masters 40s. Then I'll tell you about the case, bezel, dial, bracelet movement, finally try it on and give you my thoughts. So let's start with the history of the Yacht-Master. It's a relatively new collection of the Rolex sports line. The Rolex sports line dates back, I would pretty much say, to the start of the Submariner, which was in the early 1950s, which makes it like 70 years old. That was the advent of the sports watch for Rolex, and since then they gone on to make many different collections. One of their most famous is the Submariner. Actually, many of them are very famous. The Daytona. One of those happens to be the Yacht-Master, which is a new reference that came out in 1992. So not that long ago. That makes it approximately 30-something plus years old. And for Rolex, that's not that old, considering that the company is more than 100 years old. 30-year line for them is relatively new. It's not the newest sports line. They do have other sports lines that are even newer, but this is one of them that's been around for, as I said, 30 plus years. Okay, now with that said, they've come out with tons of different variations, which brings us to the next section of our talk, which is where this watch stands in the lineup. Well, when they released the Yacht-Master originally, let's start from the beginning in 1992, they have it in the yellow gold reference as you see it here. So the Yacht-Master all in yellow gold. Now of this one, of the Yacht-Masters in gold, they have several variations of it. They have a blue dial, champagne that you're looking at. They have a black mother of pearl, white mother of pearl, and they have a white dial with a onyx hour markers, which is also pretty interesting. Yes, it's quite a interesting watch. They made it in different sizes. It's the first time, and only time actually, that Rolex has made sports watches for ladies. Always, the sports watches were for men's size. So the Yacht-Master is the only sports watch that Rolex makes in a smaller size than 40. So they made it for a lady small. I want to say it's somewhere around 35 millimeters, and another one that was around maybe 32 millimeters or something like that. And they still do make the Yacht-Master for ladies in a small size. I believe it's 37. So that is a good thing, because women, of course, like to wear sporty watches as well. And the only option, which maybe that'll change soon, but right now the only option for women's sports watch is the Yacht-Master. And that has been this case since 1992, actually. Okay, now with that said, they make many different variations of the Yacht-Master. Since it's been out for so long, they make it in steel. They can make it steel and gold, steel and rose gold. They make it even with all yellow gold, as you see it here. And so yeah, okay, that's where this watch stands in the lineup. They have since 1992, they've gone on to make many variations. The latest variation was released in 2012, and that has pretty much modernized the Yacht-Master. It looks the same as this one that you see here. There's some minor differences, but in 2012, they modernized it by changing the bracelet. The head pretty much looks the same, but they also changed the movement inside. But the bezel and the dial, everything else pretty much looks the same, if not actually exactly does look the same. Okay, so with that said, let's dive right in and start talking about the watch itself, starting with the case. Now the case is 40 millimeters on this watch, which is a standard Rolex sports watch size, same size as you would get on a Submariner or a GMT or Daytona, or actually not the Submariner anymore, but the old Submariners. And so, yeah, it's a very nice size. It's going to fit most people. It's streamlined. The case, I will point out, is a little bit different than some of the other cases. This case is very similar to the Daytona case, although not as streamlined as the new Daytona case, but it's still quite streamlined. What you can see is the lugs on the case are curved. And why are they curved? Well, this watch is supposed to be, as the name implies, Yacht-Master. It's meant to be used for sailboat racing, or some kind of yacht racing. And as such, you should have a watch that is more streamlined, not blocky, such as the GMT, which is used for airline pilots, or this kind of airline themed activities. So the Yachtmaster, as you could imagine, would have a streamlined case, matching that of its identity, which is linked to yacht racing. Okay, and which is also the other watch that is linked to racing is the Daytona, which also has a streamlined case. So very cool. All right, so then that's the case, and the thickness is about the same thickness as the Submariner, not too thick, not too much to talk about since Rolex does a great job on their thickness when it comes to sports watches. They don't make it too thick or too thin. They make it just right. You don't want it too thin, otherwise to change the proportion, it makes it look kind of like a flat pancake. I would say I think it's around 12 millimeters here or so, but at normal size. All right, let's start talking about the bezel now. The bezel here is in yellow gold. Now, what is interesting about the bezel on the Yachtmaster? It's the only sports watch that Rolex makes that has a bi-directional bezel. Now, why would you want a bi-directional bezel? Well, because it's not meant for diving, so it doesn't matter that when you turn the bezel and place it at the minute hand that you can calculate the elapsed time and that it doesn't go back, such as is the case with diving watches like the Submariner, because you're not diving, you're not underwater, where if the time becomes less or more, you would be in big trouble. The Yachtmaster doesn't have that issue. So you can, but why exactly it turns both ways? To be honest, I'm not really sure. If you put the triangle at the minute and you calculate elapsed time, okay, maybe it's easier to go back the other direction. Let's say the triangle's at 50, then you have to go all the way around. I'm not sure. Okay, but anyways, it is bidirectional, okay? So you can calculate elapsed time, and it's also very beautiful, by the way. And what I can point out to you is the metal bezel here, or metal bezel being gold metal bezel, is it has raised numerals. The triangle is raised. The hour markers from 0 to 15 are also raised. And that has sort of this sandblasted back finish. It's very elegant and difficult way to make the bezel, because if it gets scratched, then it's much more difficult to fix. But it makes it look much more elegant, in my opinion. If you make a ceramic bezel, which they could easily do, which obviously would be cheaper, ceramic is cheaper than gold, then it wouldn't scratch, but it just wouldn't look this harmonious and beautifully designed as it does here. In all champagne, I really believe that this is the best configuration of the all gold Yachtmaster. They don't make a lot of gold sports watches, by the way. I can probably name them: the Daytona, the Submariner, the Deep Sea. Well, actually, I guess they make it almost every one except for the Sea Dweller. So, but there's only usually one or two gold models. It's not like they make it in a bunch of different colors. So, and the Yachtmaster right now, by the way, they do not actually make the Yachtmaster in all gold. So, if you want a Yachtmaster in all gold, the only way you could get one is by going back to the old school ones that we have, for example, here, and getting it. And I guess I should say, I didn't say this at the beginning, they made the gold one, this gold one, from 1992 until I think around something like 2012 or 2011, when they transferred over to the new reference. Then they stopped making this reference. So it had a good run. All right, anyways, that's the bezel. The dial, let's talk about the dial here. The interface is the dial, and that uses the same idea as the GMT, or very sorry, not the GMT, the Submariner. It's a very similar idea. It has time and date only, no GMT hand. 3 hands, hour, minute, second, and in champagne color with the little writing in red. It's I believe, pretty cool. And of course the date wheel, is champagne as well, because to match the rest of it. Okay, now let's move on to the bracelet. Now the bracelet here is an old school bracelet, and as I told you, in 2012 they changed the bracelet to the newer style, but it doesn't make it less functional. It's still every bit as functional. It's a gold bracelet, very nicely done bracelet, and as you can see, it has the old school clasp that you see here. It only comes in Oyster, so it's high polished down the center and brushed down the edges. and you can have the micro adjust. You don't have a micro adjust without tools. You have to use a tool, but that's not such a big deal. Most of us can set it one time and it'll be nicely set. Okay, let's see what to say next on this. Oh, the movement. Now the movement here is your standard movement. It's a 3135. This movement has been used for a really long time by Rolex. I want to say it was like 25 years, and it was used in basically every watch that had time and date only, 3135. It's since been replaced by the 3235. I want to say approximately something 2012 or something like, or 2020 or something. I don't know, something around there. It was replaced. So it had the 3135, which is in this, had a power reserve of 48 hours, and it was a workhorse for a very long time. So you wouldn't have to worry about that. And it's automatic. You don't need a battery for it. Okay, time to try this watch on my wrist and give you my thoughts. What are my thoughts of this watch? Well, this is a classic watch. The Yacht-Master is a classic watch that is kind of going under the radar. Not a lot of people know about the Yacht-Master and have really gravitated toward it, but it's still every bit a sports watch that Rolex makes, and it's a very beautiful watch. I love that the whole thing is all in metal, including the bezel, precious metal, because now they're going with ceramic on everything. So it's one of the few that just uses this gold bezel. And it's a great size, and you can actually get these for relatively inexpensive when you compare them to other modern ones. This one we're selling in the low 20s as of 2025, and for that price you can barely even get a steel watch from Rolex, and here you can get a completely gold one. So it's pretty cool, and I really like the dial. I really like the Yacht-Master itself, and so definitely going to give this one 2 thumbs up for bang for the buck. All right, and if you'd like to buy it, please go to jazztime.com to buy it at the lowest price anywhere online.
If you want to find out more about the watch you just saw in the video, you can just click below on Show More to see the full description. Then you can check the link next to Model as seen in video, click on it, and you will get to the proper page where you can see all the details. If you're watching on a mobile phone, you have to click on the arrow down on the right hand side below the video to see the full description. If you like this video, please give us a thumbs up. If you would like to share this video with your friends, you can use the share button below and share it on any platform you like. If you have questions, constructive feedback, want to tell us about some mistakes or misspeaks, just write a comment below. If you want to see more videos like this, you should subscribe to our channel and visit our channel page where you can find all the videos. And if you're interested in a specific watch brand, you can check out our playlists. If you want to check the price for a watch or want to buy one, remember at jazztime.com you always get a steep discount, so you should check the prices with us. If you want to know the price for a specific watch, just go to Google, type in JazzTime, plus the brand, model, and the details you're interested in, and Google will find the right page for you. Thank you for watching.